If you've watched my Nova video, you might recognize this setup. Someone at the end had something very, very similar to this. The main difference that I can tell anyway is that I took out the heavy medium laser. What's good about this setup is that it partially overcomes one of the big drawbacks of this mech, in that the firepower is still largely located in the arms, but long-range missiles will always attempt to arc over any terrain. So it helps overcome that low slung weapon weakness, and you've still got ultra autocannon 10s for close-up firepower. The reason that I decided to remove the heavy medium laser that I saw in that build up from the Nova video, or the build from the Nova video, is that this mech runs too hot as it is. So adding a heavy medium laser would really just do more harm than good. I would just overheat more often, cause more damage to myself, or just shut down. So I got rid of that, stuck in probably an extra heatsink compared to their build. I don't know what size engine they had, but I have the maximum 340 XL. So I'm moving at a pretty nice pace. 64.8 is good for an 85 tonner. And I've got the tag located in the head compartment, so that regardless of which torso I lose, I still keep the tag plus half my firepower. And these guys I know are just a little bit out of LRM range, so I was trying to at least poke them a little bit with the ultra autocannon 10s. I've got plenty of ammo on this. And since I'm not used to spawning in this location, I kind of thought there might be a shorter drop if I went this way. Instead, I just fell as far as possible and did the maximum amount of damage to my legs, because I do things. Now, if I remember correctly, I tried to, force some people back into hiding by hitting them with LRMs.
New target acquired.
For the most part, I don't know, I don't think it really works. I think they're all kind of behind too much cover. I can't even find someone to point my tag at. One thing I do like about this build, quickly, is that since I have both an active probe as well as a targeting computer, when I point a tag at someone, I have a very, very quick lock-on time. So, when people are out in the open, I lock onto them pretty fast, and I can start getting LRMs on them, as well as my autocannon 10s. The problem is, for example, with this bushwhacker, they've got rotary autocannon 2s, so they are determined to, just stare at me and keep shooting. And when someone has a setup like that, this particular setup doesn't really seem to have enough firepower to deter anybody. People don't get too intimidated by LRMs for the most part, and 2 autocannon 10s aren't bad, but they're not necessarily enough to make someone back down either. Now here, these guys are, just kind of staying out in the open and focusing on my teammate, so it allows me to get some good supporting fire, which I think is really still the role this mech best fills. Even though I don't have quite the same pinpoint damage that my old setup had, this one's still really good at just helping an ally with whatever fight they're having. And keep an eye on that big Regal that I was just helping, by the way. You're going to see a lot of him in this match.
Target spotted.
Now I tried to get this ice ferret since, his legs are about to go, but then I realized, yeah, there's just too many on my left. I need to kind of concentrate on them. But then I'm looking at a Jester who's got double AMS, so he's not a very good target for my missiles. And since I only have 2 weapon systems, if I can't bring both to bear on a target, I don't really think it's worth paying attention to that target.
New target acquired.
Now here I do some good, I think. We take out this Cyclops in pretty short order. And at that point, he was already stripped. I should have been ignoring him, but I didn't. And that gave this rifleman time to push out. And again, the bushwhacker is there too. And again, I lack the firepower to, you know, push him away. And so I had already overridden, and then this guy blows off my side torso, which means my heat management dropped, so I am overheating even harder. And it took so long for me to get away from that fight that I couldn't shut down in time to, you know, stop myself from just melting.
New target.
So we've actually done fairly well. You know, I mean, they're down to their last 4 guys, you know, and if you've played an FBEC Warrior Online, you know that a lot of matches tend to be more like, you know, 4 and 12 instead of 8 and 12. So this was not too bad. Our last pilot here, I don't know, they do okay. They're a little too focused on just brawling. You know, I mean, granted, there's very, very little chance that they're going to, you know, win this fight. But I think they really should have been trying to reposition and run around. I mean, they've got loads and loads of time, you know, on this match still, and they can, you know, use cover, kind of poke out, run away, and keep repeating that process. But instead, this person just stays right at everyone's feet. Now, they do make good use of cover like that. Their targeting is fairly bad, you know, I mean, that bushwhacker, I think, has a, you know, a leg that's ready to go, but instead they kind of, I don't know, wiggled around. And they're finally down. Now then, when the score screen pops up, you'll see that I did okay on damage. I took some decent damage too, so, you know, that wasn't too bad. And I did okay, but I didn't get any kills, only 1 component, and I think the damage is just too spread out due to having both LRMs and ultra auto cannons.